Hello everybody and welcome to our live studio show here on MXGP TV, our Facebook channel and of course our YouTube with me, Paul Malin and Lisa Leyland. It's round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship and this is the MXGP of Spain. And on today's show we have Thibault Benistant from MX2, Kevin Vlaanderen and Joel Smets. So we've got another packed show for you on this 9th round. But before we meet the first guest, shall we? Let's check in with Lisa Leyland. And Lisa, here we are once again, your home GP.
Kind of is, isn't it?
And you know what? If anything from last year is anything to go by, should be a real firecracker and a lot to look forward to.
I just loved, like I always say, what stood out for me last year was the fans and the atmosphere in the grandstands. And I've got a feeling we're going to expect more of that this weekend. And the weather's nice and it's just going to be quite electric, isn't it?
I think
and a hot one.
And it's going to be another hot one as well. But let's introduce our first guest, Thibault Benistant. He told me not to speak in an American accent, so if I drift into French, don't worry. Thibault Benistant, of course, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2 team. Welcome to Spain. Look, last year, first of all, was your rookie season. You finished 8th overall. Didn't ride the last 3 rounds because of a knee injury, but overall, were you happy with how the season was last year?
Yeah, of course. Last year I had some quite good race, some good speed. For sure, some race was not pretty good. But I think we have to learn for this to continue to build for the next season, let's say, and to take the bad race to make it better the year later. So.
But you got race wins. You had a podium. So positive season.
Yeah, of course, was some positive point here.
Yeah. Obviously, you had that knee injury, so you needed surgery. How frustrating was it to not be able to train and ride during the off-season and test, and also miss the first races of this year?
Yeah, of course, was difficult because on the beginning we was thinking was nothing bad, so I was not ready mentally to make a surgery and to miss the first race. So on the beginning I want to start like this and don't make a surgery. But then we all chose to make it. It's more smart. I'm quite young and okay, this year we're just going to try to make some really good race and to take the positive for next year.
Sure.
Well, like you said, you did miss the first 3 GPs, but in Trentino and Latvia, you were 2 times 3rd. Were you surprised by that performance, to have a top 3 finish just so early on when you came back and with not that much time on the bike?
Yeah, of course, was only the 2nd GPs, I think.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd GPs, and you were already running top 3. But you were pleased with that because even though you missed the pre-season and a lot of time, you already showed when you came back you could be competitive straight away.
Yeah, of course. After the track in Italy was not really physical, so it was quite okay. Last weekend, 2 weeks ago, was more heavy.
Yeah.
It was much more. But slowly start to feel more 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a tough one last time in Sardinia.
Yeah,
3rd overall.
Easy,
No, 3rd overall, 2 third-place finishes. I guess typically a hard-packed rider. But, I mean, you must have been pleased with that performance. It's actually a lot of people saying one of the toughest GPs of the year so far.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the toughest one.
Well, tell us about it. We've got some clip here from Sardinia.
Yeah, obviously very hot, very heavy, very deep. A lot of people struggled, but you seem to be okay.
Yeah, actually, I take 2 good start and then I arrived to manage quite good. I think I didn't push 100% because I was thinking that physically going to be really hard, so I just managed it good.
And obviously, you come from France. Normally, you prefer the hard pack, but because during your European 250 days, when you were riding for Hudson, you were based more in Holland and Belgium, riding a lot of sand. So you think those winters and that time, working with them, training with them in the sand, helps prepare you like this as well?
Yeah, of course. I think when you want to become on top in these classes, you have to make for sure a few months in Belgium or Netherlands to train it.
Obviously, you know, the top 2 guys at the moment, Tom and Jargo. How much time do you need to maybe challenge those guys for the race win at the moment? Or do you think it could happen here because it's a track maybe more like your style?
Actually, I think it's not really. Yeah, we cannot put some days or some hours on, but I think it will come when I will feel really free, like in the training and 100% on the physical. And yeah, I start to feel more I ride and more I feel good. So I hope it's gonna be soon.
Well, obviously, last weekend, or 2 weekends in Sardinia ago was 2 weeks ago in Sardinia. Get my English right. I'm sat next to a Frenchman. He speaks better English than me. Here, this weekend is also going to be hot.
Are you in the battle?
Your home GP, we go in front of the crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
More this
and see everything. Yeah, I think yes, but Tom and Matthias
dance.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was last year was fantastic. We should get the same. Is it cool right in that environment where where there's a lot of noise?
Yeah, it's really nice. And also here, sometimes if the public like you, you hear them also a little bit.
If they like you.
Yeah, if they like you.
They might not, but if they do.
Oh, they love Thibault.
Everyone loves Thibault.
Just like they like your T-shirt.
It's a dress, Paul.
Anyway, look, we are out of time. But Thibault, thanks for joining us. Our second guest is getting ready to join us now, hopefully, Calvin Vlaanderen. But before we meet him, here's some highlights from MX2 Race 2, 2 weeks ago in Sardinia. Enjoy.
Fly Racing, 15-second board up. And it looks like Benistant again in the second race. Unless Vial, whoa, it was tight between the two French riders, but it may just have been Benistant again. But it's a French 1-2. Benistant from Vial. Geerts in 5th place. Rider down. Langenfelder at the bottom of it. Liam Evans it was who went down first. As Hortmark picking himself up just off the bank there. Vial aggressive. Runs Benistant to the outside who hits neutral. Jago Geerts tries to go around the outside of Adamo. Looks like he may have succeeded. He has. Kevin Hortmo looking to find a way past Adamo as well, and he may nip up the inside. Yes, he does. Hortmo up into 4th. So Geerts eyeing up his teammate, as we said before, can't afford to spend an eternity behind the 198 if he is to have any chance of closing down Vial. Goes around the outside here. It worked a lap ago, and it works this time around as well. Into second then for Geerts. All of a sudden, he may just be close enough to launch an attack. Time is running out though. Inside, outside, different options for the two leaders. And look at the gap now, stretching out. 1.6, he's flicked the switch with about a minute and a half to go. The rhythm and the pace from Vial, absolutely sublime. A fastest lap of the race for Vial, 1:54.1 after 15 laps. Absolutely incredible what these two are doing here today. Geerts not close enough. Despite that effort on the final turn, absolutely nothing in it. The flag goes out, and it is by 0.3 of a second. Tom Vial, who wins race 2, wins the Sardinian Grand Prix. 6 consecutive podiums now for Vial, but 3rd overall, his first visit to the podium in MX2. Thibault Benistant, his Monster Energy Yamaha teammate Jago Geerts. Tom Vial, Red Bull KTM. wins race 2 and the overall Grand Prix. His 18th career victory, 38th podium. Thibault Benistant will take the Championship Leaders Red Plate to Spain in 2 weeks' time, and with that 6-point margin still intact.
Everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here, round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Spain. We are into Xanadu Arroyo Molinos. And myself and Lisa Leyland, we've got Calvin Vlaanderen joining us now from Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha Racing. And Calvin, welcome to Spain, but first of all, cometh the hour, cometh the Sandman. Where do we start? MXGP winner in Sardinia 2 weeks ago. Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Always good to be here. Definitely has sunk in. It took a couple days. Definitely was, like I said on the podium, was dream come true. Like I woke up the next morning and I had to check my phone to see, like, did it actually happen or not? But it did take a couple days. But it definitely has sunk in. Definitely a day I won't forget very soon. But it's it's still a long season, and I try to put it behind me and focus on the next races.
All right, look, let's go back to race 1. We've got some of your best moments coming up, and basically I want you to sit back and enjoy this. No talking for now. We'll come back in a moment.
Oh, he's alongside him, though, past pit lane. And he commits, and they're bar to bar. This is what he wanted to do a lap ago. This time, he makes it stick. Vlaanderen now third. Prado under attack all of a sudden. Breathing down his neck as he hangs on to that second position. The Dutchman goes through and takes second place away from the Spaniard. Just getting his head down, getting on with it, the Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha rider. It's 1.6 with 2 laps to go. Geiser has got no fight left. He's just ridden this pace. Again, 2-minute 0.7, a 1:58.0. This is Vlaanderen's race to win for sure. Geiser goes out wide. He takes a look across, sees Vlaanderen there. He knows there's no threat in the championship as well, by the way. But even still, a race win is a race win. And Vlaanderen takes the lead with a lap and a half to go. And Calvin Vlaanderen exit the final turn. And he wins race 1 here in Sardinia. What a moment for Vlaanderen. But an absolute masterclass in the sand riding today for Vlaanderen. He has schooled his rivals today in this first race.
Watching it back, still getting goosebumps?
You guys trying to make me cry again? Or?
Goosebumps?
So nice.
Yeah, I had goosebumps watching that, man.
Yeah, but it was obviously your first race win in MXGP at that point as well, so obviously a big moment, and almost as big as winning the GP itself. But what were your feelings as soon as you
I wish I could go back and relive that day.
Yeah.
Like the whole day is just a blur to me. Honestly, like it went by so quickly, and the whole day I had to really control my emotions. After the first race, I enjoyed it for like a couple minutes, but then I had to reset and focus on the second race. And after the second race, and I completely, let loose, let's say, and had no more pressure anymore, and just a weight lifted off my shoulders, and it was just, I wish I could go back and live in that moment again. It was just unreal.
Well, like you said, you had to reset and focus on the second race. When you had to go out 2 hours later after that first race, did you feel like perhaps maybe you'd done too much in that first race?
Not at all. Not at all. I still felt pretty physically strong after the first race, just that, and it worked out completely to plan.
What made a difference, Calvin, between you and everyone else that day? Because you just seemed totally unfazed by everything.
Mentally, I was really mentally strong leading up to that race. I believed in myself, and I knew that I had done the work leading up to that race. I really tried to peak at the right time because I knew the podium. It was a really good weekend to go for that podium. I did my best result there the year before, and Jeffrey's not here, Favre is not here, so I was like, okay, this is my chance to be on the podium, and I really try to peak at that race, and I didn't expect to go 1-1,
No.
but I knew if I really went for the win, I would kind of automatically be on the podium. So when I won the qualifying race on Saturday, I was like, okay, it's not just the podium, it's actually I can go for the win.
It's not often a rider hits that sweet spot where everything clicks perfectly. Fastest in time practice, so you won the qualifying race, 1-1 in the weekend. You had that last weekend. I mean, obviously we know how it felt, but it was extraordinary. Extraordinary weekend, I guess, for you more than anybody else.
It was a perfect weekend.
Yeah.
I can't say one thing that I did wrong. It really was a perfect weekend. Looking at that, it's just, it makes me so happy. But I don't want to just be a one weekend wonder.
No.
Yeah.
I want to keep it going and really try to back it up. Maybe not this weekend, but the coming weeks, and yeah, we'll see.
You even did a shoey. How much sand was in the bottom of that boot?
I shook out the sand before I did the shoey, so.
Well, Calvin, nice.
It did taste a little bit sandy, though.
A little bit salty. When we look at your season, Calvin, it really is like chalk and cheese, isn't it? From how it started compared to what it's like now. I mean, to say that you are moving in the right direction is an understatement, isn't it?
This is always the plan. I know I had the back injury last year, which didn't give me much time before the season started, and I was a little bit on the back foot, and I knew that, and the first 2 weekends were going to be tough, and they were. And then obviously the team decided not to go to Argentina, so that gave me a good block of training where I can put in good bike time, and I knew Portugal, that was going to be like my first Grand Prix for the season, and since then it's really been building each weekend and trying to improve. I knew that this win would come someday, you know. I believed it, and I just didn't know when. And I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing and keep working hard, that I can in the next year or two be fighting for the top 3 in the championship, and that's my goal.
Cool. Well, look, last weekend you voted best rider of the year, sponsored by of the weekend of the GP, sponsored by Athena. Obviously, the fans at home, you have your chance every weekend to vote for your best rider of the GP, sponsored by Athena. And basically, what it is. You know, your votes come in on Sunday. Lisa, tell us more about the voting.
To vote, a dedicated post will be shared on our Instagram page every MXGP Sunday, where you, the fans, can vote for your favourite rider of the weekend. So the competition is for MXGP riders only, and voting closes at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. So get involved and get voting for your favourite MXGP rider.
Did you get a trophy for that, by the way?
I got nothing. I just saw on Instagram that I was voted the best. It's always Tim, to be honest. Every single weekend's Tim. If he rides the 5th or 10th or wins, he's still going to be the favourite rider.
So you changed the whole voting system right there.
I mean, thanks for all the fans voted for me. I appreciate it.
But it would have been nice to get something.
Yeah. Maybe you will at the end of the year. Who knows? Well, look, just real quick before we speak to Joel. Different track this weekend. Great atmosphere last year as well. Looking forward to it. I know you had an injury last year and you couldn't really do too much, but obviously you're coming in healthy. So I guess more so looking forward to it.
100% looking forward to it. It's always nice to come here with all the fans. It's awesome to see, even though they're not cheering for me, they're cheering for their Spanish riders, and it's really cool to see that you know, the COVID time has passed and everyone's back to normal. It's, to be honest, not my favorite track, but like you said, last year I had an injury here and I wasn't really myself, so hopefully this year I can turn things around and do my best.
Cool. Calvin, pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on your win 2 weeks ago, and enjoy the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Calvin Vlaanderen. Right, before we meet Joel Smets, there's some highlights from MXGP Race 2 from Sardinia 2 weeks ago.
Leads the way. Good recovery that from Vlaanderen. Comes out of turn 2 in 3rd place. Calvin Vlaanderen gets a good run on Ruben Fernandez coming out of turn 15, jumping into the waves. He takes over 3rd position from the Spaniard. But Calvin Vlaanderen just starting to sink his teeth into Paul Jonas now. So Calvin Vlaanderen does move into 2nd with a pass on Jonas. Glenn Coldenoff launches past Paul Jonas. All of a sudden, Prado under pressure. That was a 3-second gap. Vlaanderen Vlaanderen's fastest lap of the race, and the Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha, just as we did in race 1, he's getting quicker, then he charges at the inside, no resistance from Prado. We have a new race leader on lap 8, and it's Calvin Vlaanderen once again. As Geiser goes down out of 6th place, picks himself up, and again, just going from bad to worse for Tim Geiser. What happened here? Over the berm, just ran wide and then tipped it over. He was out of control as soon as he hit that edge. Golden off. Eases past the 61. Tim Geiser circulating in 12th place, just taking points while he can here this weekend. He looked so in control in race 1, but none of us expected Calvin Vlaanderen just to surge by him. And he affords himself a quick fist pump because he knows he's just 20 metres away from taking an overall, the first in MXGP. And he does it here at Riola Sardo. He wins the MXGP of Sardinia. What a day for Calvin Vlaanderen.
Calvin Vlaanderen, you have turned some heads today, I'm not going to lie. You've gone 1-1 to get your first MXGP overall, and you did it in style.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I have no words. No words. Honestly, I'm speechless. I just want to say a big thanks to my family. Oh, always there for me. And my team, they've given me everything the last 3 years. And just to give them back this result is just awesome. Oh, I'm going to get drunk tonight.
Well deserved, Calvin.
Welcome back to our live studio show, part 3. It's round 9 of the FIM Motocross World Championship with the MXGP of Spain, with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. Joel Smets, team manager from Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. And Joel, good to see you, and welcome to our studio show. Obviously, we're round 9, nearing the halfway stage. We've got 9, 10 and 11 over the next 3 weeks. Tom Vial is second in the championship, 6 points off the lead. It's not a bad place to be at this stage, is it? Obviously, it could be leading, but given everything that's been going on.
Yeah, that's true. I think we're pretty good. Sometimes it's better to have the pressure on somebody else's shoulders and be relaxed. We're only halfway, and 6 points. Okay, they always say like it's better to be 6 points ahead than 6 points behind. But in this case, yeah, we don't mind.
Yeah, and obviously considering he only started riding again in January because he got injured towards the end of last year, took some time off. The point I was making is right where he needs to be in the fight for the championship. But what's impressed you most about him this year in terms of having to come back from that injury and get himself right back in the hunt?
The most impressive about Tom, I think, is that he never doubts himself. Yeah. He knows what it takes to win. He knows that he has to put in the hard work. And he knows that he never has to doubt himself. He will always stay in his zone on a good day and on a bad day as well, and that's very important, I think. And that's really his strength, apart from, of course, his technique, his talent, and his physical strength and stuff like that. But it's the mental aspect, I think.
Obviously, you are the Flemish Lion, known as. How much of that lion kind of heart aspect, does he have in his riding game? Because, it seems to me like he's a rider that never gives up, never.
A lot. He has a lot of Flemish Lion heart in there. I mean, yeah, you don't always expect it from a French rider, to be honest. Yeah. The past has proven. But no, Tom has an unbelievable desire. I didn't expect that when he first turned up 4 years ago, but along the way, it's unbelievable to see his determination, his desire, his ambition. his belief. It's really unreal. I have to be honest, and he even keeps on surprising myself.
Yeah, not a bad thing to sort of have then, is it, on your resume? Just keep surprising Joel Smets, keep surprising the boss. Well, look, moving on to something else now.
Yeah, Joel, it was, as we all know, an incredibly difficult off-season for the team, losing René Hoffer. It was incredibly sad, and we are all still feeling his loss now to this day. But I can't imagine the impact it's had on Red Bull KTM and you, not only professionally, but also personally as well.
Yeah, that's for life. Yeah. You will never forget that. Like for 2 years, René was often staying with me and having lunch together between 2 practice sessions and stuff like that. Or still till today, and not seeing him turn up on my driveway is hard to believe. And then in the winter, as you said, okay, you try to grab yourself together and get on with your life and with the training and stuff like that. You try to find new motivation, new desire, and then in the winter, okay, it started off quite okay, but of course you still feel that empty spot. But then it even, after Jeffrey got injured, it even got worse. So that was, for me personally, and I think also for Tom, we don't like to talk about it too much because we like to focus on positive things, of course, and we try to get the strength out of it. Yeah, I'm so happy that we managed that win there, because now after he passed away, that I got the goosebumps when I'm talking about it. But that means so much more to me now, that GP win, that his name is on the list forever of the GP winners is yeah.
I mean, this was René's win in Pietramorato. It was just such a great day. It seemed like he was almost getting started, doesn't it? And you were there with his whole family to share that moment. Oh, it's so nice to watch. And like you said, it just feels even more special now watching it back.
Yeah, it's now a little while that I've watched it, because you also can't watch it every day, But like 2 weeks ago, I still had his shirt, which he signed for me at the end of the year, and I didn't have the power yet until now to bring it to the store to get it framed. Yeah. And like 2 weeks ago, I was standing at the counter and like putting the René Hoffer shirt there to get framed, and your voice stocks, and it's crazy. And especially when, what I was saying, like when Jeffrey got injured, then it got a few weeks really bad, because then we were often ending up on the practice track, just Tommy's mechanic and myself, the 3 of us, while we would be like 6 or 9 people around and laughing and telling jokes and stuff like that. And you try to keep the conversation going, you try to keep the good vibes going. But then at some moment that conversation stops, and that silence is killing. Yeah. Then you really know fucking somebody's missing here.
Apologies there, but obviously it's an emotional subject. But obviously going back to Jeffrey then, obviously no MXGP, no USA, more surgery. What's the latest with Jeffrey? Because obviously after what we witnessed last year, 3 riders going for the championship, extraordinary season. What are we, when are we likely to see him back?
Well, that's hard to say. He had the injury this week. He had the surgery this week on both feet. Wait and see with Jeffrey. You never know. You expect the unexpected, but it's definitely weeks recovery. We're not aiming for something this year. If it comes, the better for us. If it doesn't come, it's also good.
Okay, well, moving on to Tom Vial. He's won here in the past. He's been on the podium the past 6 times. Are you feeling confident about his performance this weekend here?
Yeah. I'm confident because he's confident.
Obviously, just looking at these images from Jeffrey last year, I mean, what a final round. Tied on points, going into the final race. Yeah. The last time that happened was Jean-Michel Bale and Davy Strybos back in sort of, 87? So a long time in terms of history repeating itself. What was it like for you guys down there in pit lane watching this final race unfold?
Yeah, it's a bit weird because maybe you don't believe it, but I was quite calm, to be honest, because I was confident it was going to work out for Jeffrey. Yeah. Somehow, for some reason, of course, I know him already for many years and stuff, and I knew I had this under control. He had this under control. I was confident from the start.
Yeah. Well, look, obviously no Jeffrey. How long? What is the timeline then, if he's had surgery now?
Yeah, again, we have no timeline. Yeah, it can be next year, but with Jeffrey, you never know. We expect unexpected. If the recovery goes well, you know, he likes to ride a bike and he likes to win races and he likes to race.
Yeah.
So, but for sure, it's a matter of at least weeks.
Sure.
So.
All right, well, look, we are out of time. Joel Smets, thanks for joining us here. Before we go, though, just a quick reminder as to where you can catch us today. We're back live 2:40 local time today with WMX Race 1, and then straight after that, EMX 125 presented by FMF Racing before rounding out the day with the qualifying races from MX2 and MXGP. That's it for Spain. We'll be back next week in France at Ernay, so join us for our studio show there with me, with Lisa, and whoever the guests happen to may be that weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Enjoy the racing. Bye for now.